Welcome back. Hottest show in the galaxy. I got Roland S. Martin in the house. We having a off-mic conversation that y'all can't be privy to.
Why not? Why not?
Alley Cat's in the house. Give him his love. Smiz. Hold on. There we go. Let's go to the phones, Roland. People want to talk to you.
Sure.
I don't know why, but
well, they commenting on Twitter.
Yeah. Hey, Martin in Dallas. Martin, welcome to the Karen Hunter Show. Martin. All right, you know it's 2 strikes. Martin going once, going twice. Bruce in Atlanta. That's how we do. You get a lot of time.
Yeah, this is Bruce. How you doing today?
Hey, Bruce, we're good. What's up?
It's my first time calling.
All right.
And I wanted to tell Roland Martin that I enjoy his commentary, enjoy his shows that he has, and he is completely right when it comes down to us taking hold of media. Back in the 90s, I think that we missed the opportunity taking over the internet and understanding the impact that it was going to have inside all of our lives. So, I'm one of those people that seen it forward, and it has seemed like that I was talking over people's heads, and he is actually right. But the problem is, when it comes down to media, having a platform, a lot of people really don't know how to do it.
True.
And a lot of times they think only podcasts, but we really need a platform. And this is where companies like British Telecom, AT&T, they are really the people that is the platform. And people don't know too much of that. We don't get together to try to send a satellite up inside the space. So
why do we need a satellite, by the way? Even though we're on a satellite, and I'm not mad at the satellite, but why do we need a satellite, Bruce? Let's start thinking more nimbly.
You don't have no choice. There's it's talking about, you got servers up in satellite.
No. Here's what. No, actually, you do have a choice. But this is how you also understand business. So when we launched Roland Martin Unfiltered, we came out of the box and we said we're going to stream on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. There were people who were saying, "No, man, get your own OTT channel." But what they didn't understand is that you've got business costs associated with that, such as broadband, and because of bandwidth. And so what I said is, no, we're going to build this show utilizing existing bandwidth, and then to build up our audience. And so that's what we've done. So we did 8.2 million views in September, 14.1 million in October, and then about 8.4 in November. But here's the point. The point is you start where you are and you build. And then what you do is, the reason I'm talking about collaboration and working with others, because then you can also grow faster, because if they already have entities. So it's like, for instance, if I'm building a television show, I'm not going to run out and go hire my own sales team when I can partner with an existing company that already does that, because then what that does is we just do a revenue game, and I'm not carrying the extra overhead. I'm making business decisions. And so what I'm saying to anybody out there is, don't think that you have to actually build your own platform. You can start your venture on somebody else's platform and then transition to your own when it's economically feasible. But don't allow that to be the barrier that keeps you from actually doing it.
There you go.
I do agree with you, and this is where that I was talking about it. But you got to remember, though, that they turned us off before. So
stop. Who's they? Putting it down. You said they. Who's they?
Oh yeah. Let me tell you, for example, if they want to slow down your bandwidth,
who's they?
It's really easy for AT&T.
No.
British Telecom.
No. First of all, net neutrality specifically spoke to the issue. And here's a dude. I have been streaming now for 3 months. My bandwidth hasn't been turned down. I can actually monitor that now. Now let's be clear. You can be on certain platforms, and I literally was on the phone with Facebook today. like a lot of my users are not getting their live notifications when I'm live streaming, which is impacting who's actually seeing my videos. And my deal to them is, yo, what's going on? That needs to be dealt with, because see, I'm tracking my numbers weekly and daily. I can see if I did 1.2 million last week, then I went down to 900 this week. It ain't like my fans all of a sudden left. It's like, okay, what's going on with the numbers? So you do have that, but here's the other piece. By me streaming on 3 platforms, I'm not solely dependent upon Facebook, because I'm also on YouTube and I'm also streaming on Periscope, Twitter. So when you say, so again, it's understanding the platforms and how they're being used. We have to be smarter at that. But I'm not going to sit here and still just allow somebody else to say, well, I can't do it because of what they're doing. No, it's not going to happen.
But that's how we defeat. They, them, the man.
Not going to do it.
But we
got
don't
to identify.
We don't do our due diligence.
Right.
We don't put our homework in. And we have these ideas about what we can and cannot do, and these limits that we place on ourselves that have been indoctrinated into us for 400 years. And we got to break those binds. 866-801-8255. And we got to stop hating on each other.
Yeah.
We had a conversation during the break about various sundry people. And at the end of the day, for me, it's always about the business. Ron and I have this conversation. I don't care whether I like you or not. There are people I can't stand, but I do business with them because it's good business, not just for me, but for the people. Just because I don't like somebody doesn't mean that the people listening won't like them. So how do you make decisions based on what I like and what I don't like?
It's like I've had a lot of people who have said to me, they said, man, why'd you have a show on MSNBC? I said, well, first of all, I can't give myself my own show.
Come on.
Said, so let's just be clear.
Right.
I said, one, I can't do that. I said, I can't answer as to why I'm not on. I know when I was getting booked on multiple shows, then all of a sudden it just stopped. Does that mean that somebody is blocking? Does it mean that, did I tick somebody off? But what I do know, and see, this is where, again, how business is supposed to work. What I do know is when I come on, I light it up. What I do know is when the whistle is blown, that red light comes on, I perform. So if this thing is this is what Reverend Jackson has said for years. Reverend Jackson said the reason black people have done so well in sports, take basketball. He said because the court is 94 feet long. No matter where you go in the country, it's 94 feet. The goal is 10 feet high. There's an equal distance on every basketball court from the free throw line to the goal. The three-point line is the same distance. You get the same number of timeouts I get. You get 5, I get 5. Rules are clear. They're public. Now it's game time. The reason African Americans, in many ways, have not been able to advance is because what happens is, outside of sports, what then happens is that we are told that the goal is 10 feet. But then, so we go back, we practice, we put our work in. Then when we show up, the goal is now 14 feet. So we then go, okay, all right, cool. So we go back and we practice for that 14-foot goal. Then we come back, we dropped it to 12. And so all of a sudden, the rules change because it becomes subjective. So what gets me is if somebody says, "Well, Roland, I just think that you're too angry, too passionate." You cannot find a video of me going off that resembles anything Sean Hannity or Bill O'Reilly did
on a nightly basis.
Yet you're talking about the folks who got their own Gulf Streams and who are making $20, $30, $40, $50 million because this system's, no, they can be passionate, but you're angry. And I'm going, I'm sorry. I mean, I remember I had, this actually happened. I had a producer who said, at CNN, he said, "You're volatile." I said, "Whoa." I said, "I'm sorry, what'd you just say to me?" I said, "Volatile?" And so I had a meeting and I said, we were talking about some other stuff, and I said, "No," I said, "there's one more item on the agenda. I need the two of you to define for me volatile." This was the tone I used. I said, "I've never slammed the door. I've never kicked the trash can. I've never threatened anybody." I said, "Do you know why? Because as a black man, every job that I've been on, the first thing I did was read the employee manual. I want to know what qualified as insubordination." I said, "And I've never been sent home or suspended because of insubordination. So can y'all please define me what volatile means?" And the VP goes, "Well, I think what it means is that you wear your emotion on your sleeve." I said, "No, that's called wearing your emotion on your sleeve. That's not volatile." I said, "If you use the word volatile and it involves a black man, that conjures up an image where I am threatening folks, I am cussing folks out, I am slinging things across the room, and they couldn't define it, but the tag was there, volatile. See, that's the game that folks play.
Well, let's learn some rules. When we come back, we're going to talk more. If you could stick around. Can you stick around?
Yeah, I don't go live till 6, so I got 2 hours.
All right, good.
It only takes me 20 minutes to get set up.
All right, that's good to know. All right. It's the Karen Hunter Show.
That red light on, I know is on.
All right. Well, there's no red light in this room.
Oh, look behind the camera. Right
Where
in the
is
little
it?
microphone.
Oh, okay. All right. But you were talking, though.
Right now?
All right. Okay. All right. We're here. It's SiriusXM Thrive Thursday. Angela Matthews will be joining us. Stock market is taking a hit. We're going to be talking about that and what does that mean for your money. You know we invest here in the Karen Hunter Show. A lot of us do, so we're going to talk about that. Roland Martin is sticking around. Alley Cat is here. I don't know whether he'll talk or not. I have no idea. I want to knock out 5 minutes of Trump since I got Roland in the house. Let's rapid fire. Let's hit it.
And now,
I love the poorly educated.
it's time for
Look at my African American over here.
5
Look at him.
minutes
Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about?
of Trump.
I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
5 minutes of Trump
I'm a very intelligent person.
with Karen Hunter.
I don't know what to make of all of this. I'm watching.
Has he learned the Apostles' Creed yet?
No,
Okay,
he'll
I'm
never.
sorry.
He can't read. He can't read very well.
I'm just checking.
It was on the sheet in front of him. His whole demeanor. But this is disturbing. The Republican senators have introduced legislation to fully fund Trump's request of $25 billion for this U.S.-Mexico wall.
I
border
thought
wall.
Mexico was paying for that.
The Wall Act, this according to Ted Cruz, will be fully funded by closing the existing loopholes that provide illegal immigrants with federal benefits and tax credits without affecting the benefits and tax credits used by Americans. What do you make of this?
First of all, it's not going to pass the House. So because unless that bill is going to be passed in the next 3 days, that ain't going to get passed. Do you actually think Nancy Pelosi is going to sit there and allow that bill to advance in the U.S. House? It's not going to come to the floor. And so that's cute of Ted Cruz. But again, though, this is why I use the hashtag we tried to tell you. All them people, every time something happens that Trump does where he lies, and I also use that hashtag Trump Lives Matter, I go, we tried to tell you. So every time I see one of these broke white folks in the Midwest, I thought Trump was going to save my job. Hashtag we tried to tell you. You can't blame, y'all can't blame no black people on this.
Omarosa and Diamond and Silk.
94% of black women did not vote for
Ben
Donald
Carson.
Trump. 85% of black men did not vote for Donald Trump. If y'all got any complaints about Trump, do not come talk to black people.
We need to talk to that 15%.
Because we tried to tell you.
All right. Trade deficit hits the highest level in a decade.
He don't care.
U.S. trade deficit has reached $55.5 billion, the highest level in a decade. As we know, the stock market.
What fiscal hawks? What the deficit people? And in fact, you saw the story of the Daily Beast where Trump told people, look, I ain't gonna be here when that debt stuff happens. So y'all got. So Daily Beast has a story where he told some people where they said, hey, with the debt, he said deficit. He said, oh, I ain't gonna be here when it's time to pay for that. I'll be gone. As in dead or out of office? No, as in my term be up. I'm gone. I'll be gone.
Okay, look at me. Okay.
He don't care.
Trump claimed that his approval rating will be 75%. 75% if it wasn't for Robert Mueller's investigation.
Bullshit.
Thank you.
In the words of Della Reese from the movie Harlem Nights, kiss my entire ass.
We got that. We got you covered.
Ain't no way in the world. Okay, George H.W. Bush's approval rating was 90% after the Iraq War. Bruh, in order to get to 75, that means a majority of Democrats would have to approve of you. That ain't happening. But hashtag Trump Lives Matter.
Well, he also tweeted that his approval rating was at 50%. That's according to a Rasmussen poll. But the Rasmussen poll only polled Republicans. Right. So it's not a true.
It ain't even 50% at his household.
Yeah.
Who you say? Barron and Melania on the other side of that?
But also the daughter he don't like talking about.
Oh, Tiffany.
Right.
Tiffany. Where is she?
You take Melania, Barron, and Tiffany. They ain't voting for him, so he ain't at 50-50.
All right, I'm done with Trump. Smash.
That's sort of how I feel with my show.
God bless the United States. An anonymous
Lodestar.
Now you know. Remember, okay.
Space Force.
Now we're done.
Now you remember when he complained to the media, the unflattering photos of him. So when
there were actual photos of him.
Right. So when you see my Trump Lives Matter segment, we went and got every unflattering photo and put that in the collage for Trump Lives Matter.
So we do a version of that with the audio.
There you go. There you go.
We've been having this discussion. There's this whole list of people who are now running for president, thinking about running for president, not running for president. Avenatti is in more trouble now. He had to sell his Ferrari and his watch, his gold watch, his Rolex, he had to give up his plane.
I tried to tell him when he came on my show. I tried to tell him.
What did you try to tell him?
Well, when he made that comment,
about the white man,
right, and I tried to tell him, and I said, "Bro, look," and he kept trying to argue with me. Well, Roland, of the people, who do you think is going to be the nominee? I said, "Dude, I can't answer your questions. I don't know who's running." And he kept trying to get me. I said, "Look, it's not going to be you." And he kept trying, and I said, "I'm trying to tell." I said, "I'm not going to answer your question." I said, "Because what you don't understand is you have to go through the rigors of a race." I said, "Do you recall 2016? Who were the two candidates that conventional wisdom said were likely going to be the nominee?"
Jeb Bush?
No.
Oh, who was it?
It was Tim Pawlenty, and it was Scott Walker. I said, "Michael, who were the first two to drop out?" Tim Pawlenty and Scott Walker. I said, "Dude, what looks great on paper right now means nothing." I said, Fred Thompson. He's tall, Reagan-esque. He was an actor.
Yeah.
He ran the most woeful. His campaign was actually worse than Rudy Giuliani's campaign. Do you know how hard that is? Same thing. On paper means nothing.
Well, Andrew Gillum has met with President Barack Obama, and he's not ruling anything out. What do you think about Andrew Gillum?
It's been very interesting to see the people talk about Beto O'Rourke, about him running for president, when he actually lost by a larger margin than Andrew Gillum and Stacey Abrams. So that's first.
Well, let's pause there. This country has proven itself since Mississippi, Georgia, Florida, to be extremely racial. Let's say that. All right. And in the era of Trump, Andrew Gillum's still a black man.
But first of all, I agree. But here's what happened a couple of things happened in Florida that I think are also critically important. The issue of school choice, which I am a supporter, played a huge role when you had 18% of black women who voted for Ron DeSantis, because many of them had their children who were a part of the school choice programs, which Andrew Gillum disagreed with. That's major. I keep telling people, black folks, when they care about the education of their kids, Democrats don't sit here and keep acting like school choice don't matter. That's first. But here was the other thing. Tallahassee Democrat had a story. They said how Ron DeSantis won. And in that story, it was a turnout issue. When you saw, they listed all of the counties. You had to go down about to the 14th county to see one that was blue. All the first 13, 12 or 14, 12, 13 were red. If Andrew Gillum, so Miami-Dade County, the most populous county in the state, which Andrew Gillum was banking on, the turnout in Miami-Dade was 54%. If Miami-Dade had turned out to the tune of 65%, Andrew Gillum is the governor. This is what I've been saying to black people. Mike Espy lost by 68,000 votes. He got about 350,000 or so black voters. There are 800,000 registered black voters in Mississippi. 45% of black voters in Mississippi voted. Means 55% of black voters didn't. How did Harold Washington become the first black elected mayor of Chicago? Because black people voted between 82 to 85% of turnout. Black people, because of the numbers, African Americans have to vote in significant numbers to make up. You can't have black people voting in counties at 55, 60% turnout, and then in these Trump counties, turnout was 70, 71, 72. This is a turnout game. And what I keep saying to campaigns, you can't focus on elections 3 months out. If you're talking about 2020 right now, you should be organizing and mobilizing today. We have to have a return to citizenship training classes, to teaching people about politics, what you saw in the civil rights movement. Those things matter. It's a turnout game. When you stay at home, you are wasting your power. And again, Miami-Dade, 54% turnout. If Miami-Dade, they were so far down the list, the top 12 counties in Florida that exceeded 70% turnout, all red, went for DeSantis. That's how he won.
Let's take some calls. 866-801-8255 is the Karen Hunter Show. We're here on Sirius XM Urban View, channel 126. Roland S. Martin is in the house, and that's where you can follow him. Also want to remind you about some life insurance. We want you to get your life insurance. It's a deeply unfun topic. Most people don't like thinking about life insurance because it means you got to think about death. But no, I think about legacy and I think about wealth when I think about life insurance. And so you should be doing that too. This is what we do here on the Karen Hunter Show. So get peace of mind, first of all. That's not complicated. But Policy Genius is an easy way to get life insurance in minutes. You can compare quotes from top insurers to find the coverage you need at a price you can afford. And from there, just apply online. And the team at Policy Genius will handle all of the red tape. And Policy Genius doesn't just make life insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for disability insurance to protect your income, homeowners insurance, or auto insurance, Policy Genius can help you get covered. So if you've been intimidated or frustrated by insurance in the past, give Policy Genius a try. It's easy. You can compare top insurers and find the best value for you. So head over to policygenius.com today. Let's go to Marduk in Tennessee. You're on the Karen Hunter Show with Roland S. Martin. Welcome.
How you doing, Karen Hunter? First time caller.
Welcome.
Yeah, I just want to make a quick statement here. I don't want to get into too much detail. I've been driving a truck 23 years, and I don't believe in racism up until about a couple of weeks ago. It's getting pretty bad out here. Some things are going to have to be addressed. I'm a member of OOIDA, as Independent Owner Operators Association. Been an owner operator for a long time, and I don't see any black folks, black truck drivers out here being racist. It's just all white men, and I stress that very, very deeply. It's bad. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know if I'm making any money or what, but I got my financial situation in order. I own my truck. And they're taking it out on black drivers and black women. You know, 'cause I got my wife out here driving as well. I caught a white truck driver trying to come around on the side, on the passenger side, and my wife was coming over on the driver's side, and she thought that she was alone. And it's all goes out to all black truck drivers out there. Bill your P's and Q's.
Well, thank you
That's
for that.
all I want to say, Karen.
All right, listen, Marduk, please be safe. The climate in this country is really toxic. It's a little scary, and I don't see it getting any better because it's commodified, right? It's a commodity.
It's not about Trump.
No, it's not.
2009, the poll was done. The question was asked, are you optimistic about the future of America for your children? Every racial group except white folks, majority said yes. Here's the point. What is going on now is white fear because America demographically is changing. It's not going backwards. The white death rate in about 10 plus states is higher than the annual white birth rate. And so it's fear. The buttons are being pushed.
Fear of what?
Fear of America. America was created to be a white country. And the problem is white folks are going, oh, hold up. This thing is now real. We're not going to be in control because the numbers are changing, and the problem, and that's what's going on. Mitch Landrieu, in his book dealing with the Confederate statues,
the mayor of
former mayor of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
he said, "White people, it's okay. You don't have to fear black people having demographic numbers, because," he wrote this, they won't do to us what we did to them." See, that's what's going on here. What's going on here is that America is changing, and not just demographically is changing. See, white folks are raised to salute the flag, and it means something different to them than it does to us. And so when we get empowered, see, culture changes, values change. See, that's what you have going on here. So when you hear the phrase, "Man, take our country back, make America great again," they are referencing a time when they were completely in control. You now have white kids they got to compete. Because see, it can't just be daddy make a phone call, because guess what? The group that's the most black educated in the country are black women. You now going up against black folks who are educated. You see, all these things are changing, and see, the problem with all this analysis on the television is that most of those folks, to your point earlier, ain't deep as mustard on a hot dog. So see, they don't want to actually drill deeper to ask the second and third and fourth question. I remember during the election, Joe Scarborough was talking about this on Morning Joe, and he was like, "Well, the wages of white men have only grown up 3% since 1972, and black men since 1973." I said, "Well, damn it, what were the wages of black men before 73?" Well, hell, they were so low. Of course, they went up 12%, right? Because they were so low,
right?
But you have white men in this country. Remember, what did Trump say? Right. "If I had to come back, I would come back as a black person, because all the opportunities they get." What the hell are you talking about? Right. But again, that's what's been drilled into the head.
He's talking about black unemployment, but what's white unemployment?
Well, first of all, he's talking about black unemployment, but he don't want to deal with the fact that if you're a white man with a high school degree, you making more money than a black person with a college degree.
Right.
But see, they don't want to drill down into that. So what the people are dealing with, and see, here's the problem. Remember Bernie, matter of fact, I had to sit down with Bernie Sanders on this. Remember the comment he made when he said, "Well, it's not that people are not really racist voting against Andrew Gillum, but they're just uncomfortable voting for somebody who's black." I'm like, do you know what the hell you just said?
Racism.
But here's the deal. So here's the reason why I rarely call somebody racist, because what it leads to is a discussion, racist, not racist. No. I'm going to deal with what you said, what you did. And so what you're dealing with here, you're dealing with white Americans who can't handle that the country that they have known, the country that was positioned for them, is changing, and they don't know how to react.
But how is it changing when the majority of the Fortune 500 CEOs are what? People who run companies and industry in this country.
Right.
The majority of senators are what? White men, right?
There you go.
So I'm saying, throughout the country, how many black governors? Stacey Abrams would have been the first black woman. We haven't had another black person since Doug Wilder.
Because for them, when they see more than one, it's an invasion. That's why. See, Obama's election actually caused them to go, "Oh, damn, did we just elect somebody black? Oh, what the hell?" And all of a sudden, it's like, okay, what's going on here? And so then, remember, the buttons being pushed on legal immigration, a generation ago, that was us. So if you really want to study civil rights movement, see, they don't want to deal with what happened while we have a Fair Housing Act, because what did they say? Okay, we let y'all vote. We let y'all go to hotels. But damn it, y'all can't be living next to us. Everybody forget, they filibustered for 3 years the Fair Housing Act. The only reason it got passed is because King got killed.
How about this?
See,
how about we don't want to live there? How about we do what I've been calling for on these airways for the last 4 years? Build our neighborhoods into the places that everybody wants to live.
But here's the piece that, and I just had Andre Perry on Roland Martin Unfiltered last night. Their study shows that the average black home is valued at $50,000 less, and so what we're dealing with is, and I need people who are listening to understand this. You're dealing with white fear. You're dealing with people who have beliefs who don't. It's not. King wrote in Chaos or Community, Where Do We Go From Here? He said, our issue will not be the person in the Klan hood, and it will not be the person burning a cross. He said, it is going to be the moderate white. And he even said in the book, he said, and that will include some of our allies, because they believe we've gotten enough.
So let's talk about this.
The most radical book, every person, If you black, white, I don't care. You should have a copy of that book. I got it in my bag.
I've been putting out Tom Burrell's Brainwash because I feel like we got
that book, and guess what? It was not published.
Give me the title.
Until 10 years after he died. It went out of print. Chaos or Community? Where do we go from here? It is. Everything that we have seen in the last 50 years, King literally wrote it down. Prescription is there. He specifically challenges 3 black institutions to deal with black America. He said the black church, the black press, and what it says about the black press is he says the black press must remain militant about black concerns.
Come on, and
then he challenged Negro associations, groups, fraternities, and sororities. He said those are the 3 institutions that can be the savior of black people and lead us to the promised land, and he lays it all out. It is that is a radical book. And again, it was his worst-selling book while he was alive, and it didn't get printed for a decade after his death.
We've talked about Martin Luther King didn't have a great approval rating among blacks when he was alive. 60% of black people did not like Martin Luther King. They thought he was a rabble-rouser who was a troublemaker.
Because he dared to challenge President Lyndon Baines Johnson, and black folks said, how dare you, because he signed the Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act, but they weren't understanding what Dr. King said. It was a moral reason why he opposed the Vietnam War, and it didn't matter what bills he signed.